Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
G'day, legends. It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crannk'd.com. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's a great pleasure that I'm absolutely stoked to be joined by the incredible bassist from one of Sweden's most iconic metal bands, Niklas Sandin of Katatonia. They are back with their 13th studio album, Nightmares, as extensions of The Waking State. It is dropping June 6th via Napalm Records. It is an amazing album. Thank you so much for joining me, mate.
Thank you for having me. And you say that album title so much better than I do. I mess it up every second time. It's kind of like, oh, now it comes, and like, what is it now again? No, it's horrible. It's a cool album title, but when I saw it the first time, I was like, I will never be able to say this.
I was a bit worried. I was a bit worried I was going to come in and go Walking State, because sometimes it just kind of had that feeling. But it's an absolutely amazing album. The cover, the title, it's very evocative, brings up all these emotions. You can kind of feel that balance that you guys heavily draw. How are you feeling to the release up of the day?
Oh, I'm feeling great about it. A bit nervous as always, because I want people to like it, of course. And you know what we pulled together as a unit, And no, it means a lot, when the album is released, and it's fun though to be in this kind of limbo between releasing a few singles and then having the album soon out. No, it's great. It's a good feeling.
Well, the singles that have dropped off it have already, Lilac and Temporal are absolutely amazing. This album, it really does amplify this real guitar-driven sound you guys have. The tracks in it are just absolutely amazing. You guys have this delivery where there's so much between the lines and the way you make your albums. Tell me a little bit about the guitar-driven side and you guys leaning into that with this album, and how it affected your bass parts individually for this.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of like a Jonas question, of course, because he
Yep.
writes the music. But I think that he is just like, he writes whatever comes to him. So I'm not sure that it was like purposely, you know, done thing to have it like guitar driven, and but I think it's very nice, and I like it as well. I like that it's lots of guitars and that it's riffing, and the heaviness to it. It feels like would you call it like a fresh take? But it feels like a good evolution in the sound, and also great when we have two new fantastic guitarists, in the band, and who comes with lots of energy, and Nico that has a background in Entombed and stuff like
Yep.
that, and Svalland who has plays in Pain and play with Lindemann and lots of other great bands, from Sweden. And yeah, and they know their thing. They're super professional, and they can both play emotional stuff on the guitar,
Yep.
great solos, and also dig in and you know dare I say chugging, but making it sound really heavy. And so I think that's great. And it kind of like, I don't know if it has affected my bass playing that much, but it's kind of like this album has both the space for all those guitars and that take, but also like the kind of, so as I call it sometimes, because the bass has more role than just backing the guitars in Katatonia's music. It's kind of like, I call it lead bass
Yep.
sometimes, because there's so much happening, and it kind of like it. I'm feeling blessed, and I'm feeling grateful that I can play bass in a band that's kind of like, it brings the vibe, and also melodic parts, and having a more having a bigger role than just what I would call like akadaka bass or something like that. When it's just like playing root notes, and which also is great bass playing. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I'm happy to have my own pocket and space in the Katatonia music.
Yeah, so what was it like bringing in that new blood as well? Nico was already playing live and in the touring lineup for you guys, but coming in for the songwriting process, then bringing Sebastian on as well. What was it like bringing these guys in with the new members? What the new energy? Do they bring in new ideas? Just tell me a little bit about working with these guys.
Oh yeah, they bring new ideas, and Sebastian, he has great ideas about how to improve things in like production as well, and well, like playing wise, it was like I've explained once before, it almost felt like an AI thing. You just like prompted them with the set list and like these are the songs we're gonna play, and of course lots of those songs Nico had already played because he filled in for Anders, not just on a European tour and a gig in Denmark, but also in Tasmania.
Yep.
Which was the Dark Mofo Festival. A fantastic experience. I don't think I've ever traveled that far and that many hours for one gig. No, but like we just threw a set list on them pretty much, and then they started working the things out themselves, and draw up this spreadsheet with like who is playing what, and and they were like every day they were communicating on WhatsApp and how is it going with that thing, and can you show me that thing, and how is this. So we didn't really have to do much, me, Jonas, or Mojo. We were kind of like, okay, this is just sorting itself out. And then they came to the rehearsal place, and it went really fast. It was quick. It was a quicker affair at the rehearsal place than it's ever been, But so we were kind of like, whoa, okay, this is really, really efficient. It wasn't like what you would think, bringing two new members into the band. They would be like, oh, now we have to sit here for weeks and go through songs, and this riff is played like this, or like this is done in this kind of way, and this is how we do stuff. It's all felt very natural, and it just shows like the musicianship and how professional they are as well.
Oh, he's an amazing musician as well. You mentioned it too, but I actually met Nico years ago. He played in Tomb AD.
No way.
Yeah, they played the show here in Adelaide. Oh, I can't remember what year it was. I do have a drumstick signed, and I've got a poster and a couple of things. So I was sitting backstage having beers with him, pale ales. He's an amazing bloody musician and an awesome dude. When I'd seen that he'd kind of jumped over with you guys, I already knew like what an amazing musician he was, and to kind of see the work that he's doing with you guys and how cool he is on stage and coming in as a full-time member. It's something I was pretty bloody excited about. And if people haven't checked out the work that he's done before, he's an absolutely amazing musician along with you guys, and you can just see the kind of energy you all have together with this kind of new blood coming in as well, with this new kind of rhythm and the melody kind of working in together.
Oh yeah, and I mean Nico has been producing death metal albums and stuff in the past as well, so he knows how things on that side of the spectrum works as well. So that's just fantastic, and no, he's a great bloke.
Yeah, dude, for sure, definitely. And a couple of tracks, we'll go through a couple of tracks on there. Wind of No Change, it kind of has this really goth meets metal post to it as well. And the lines in there and the lyrics are absolutely unreal. Everyone, when the album drops, you got to buy it and read all the lyrics along with it. Tell me a little bit about that track and bringing that to life.
Ooh, yeah. Well, what can I say? I mean, I think it's one of the most outstanding tracks for a long while in Katatonia's discography. It's just it's very different, and it's very it's bigger than I think Katatonia has ever been in terms of like soundscape and with the choirs and stuff like that, and how it builds up as well. And it's very, dare I say, satanic. It's not something that you it's not something that you might play in a religious home, depending on what your purpose are, of course. Maybe convert people, but no, I think it's great. And like lyrical theme wise, I always leave that up to interpretation, and it's the same within the band as well. Like it's not that we sit down with Jonas and like, oh, what does this song mean, and what does this song mean, and what was the purpose with these lyrics? Because I've asked that just because of like making it easier for me answering questions in interviews, but it kind of like it was kind of like met with the like, well, whatever it means for you. I was like, okay, cool, awesome. So it's and I haven't really dug into the lyrics of this album that much. It's more kind of like I'm vibing the music, you know, and for me, the way Jonas sings and how the words that he is choosing, it kind of becomes like another instrument in itself, and it kind of like flows with the music and how it is. It means maybe I'm listening to the lyrics more kind of like that way than the actual words and reading into what kind of meaning it is. For me that song evokes some kind of feeling of almost like looking at some old horror movie or something. Like that brings evokes the same kind of feeling, you know, of that eeriness, and you know, I don't know, that without it being too much either, I guess.
Yeah, Jonas has this delivery though with his voice, as you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like this beautiful despair that he's able to portray with his lyrics and his vocal delivery as well. And there's that real kind of feel all through this album as well. And that stunning effort, Solon, you were mentioning about not explaining the lyrics. You just listen to that track and I was sitting here not having a clue, being an Aussie, like going, man, this is just absolutely fucking beautiful. Like and as you mentioned, the first listen through of this album, the first few listen throughs, I wasn't even really paying attention. I love that with a good doom metal album. You just get lost in the instrumentation and the vocals just become one with that, and that's just the instrument as well, and you do get lost in it.
Yeah, I think that's more rich than, you know, if Katatonia would be a band where it's just kind of like, you know, very scaled down guitar and bass work, and then you're just building something up, and then it's very like just about the lyrics, you know. I think Katatonia is so big and so vast in the, you know, songwriting that you can even like hear new stuff you know, ages later than when you listen to it the first time. And we've been doing some stuff to promote the album and recently, and then I can hear the guitars more scale, like, you know, soloed, and I could see how Svalland was playing some stuff on a song, and same with Nico. And I was like, oh, so that's how it's done. Wow. And then like, oh, that part, wow. And then I went back listening to it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like it's more like a seasoning than in your face, and you're kind of, oh, yes, that's cool. So it's even someone that's playing on the record is kind of like hit with surprises after a while. So it's that's cool.
It creates that space between notes, and also it must be exciting, like going, mixing up the set list a bit as well, and having these different sounds. And as you go forward, especially with all these bloody shows you got to round out the year, you must be excited to be playing a couple of tracks off of the album. Which ones are you kind of excited to get out and start playing live?
Oh, I think it is these the two singles that we released, and also the song that we already discussed. I think that's gonna be like a fan favorite in a live situation, you know. And I think you can do lots with it, you know, creating like a very atmospheric and eerie space for people. If you're not playing a festival at 2:00 in broad sunlight, maybe it's a bit more difficult, but then we just have to try a little bit harder, you know. And but we're often blessed or not blessed, depending on how you look at it, with clouds. It's kind of like, oh, now our clouds comes into the festival. It's time for Katatonia to play for whatever reason.
It must be fun playing all those festivals, but you guys getting into those closed shows and a bit closer and having that surround feeling must totally bring up a totally different experience and feeling, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do prefer like the show itself. I prefer in a club show, and
Yeah.
being on a tour, because that's like you're getting to be in that quite intimate space, because we don't play like this huge 5,000 plus halls or anything. We play a little bit smaller club venues, and then you get to be quite like intimate in a live situation with people coming there, the audience, and it creates a really magical magical moment that you might not achieve on a festival, because more than half of the people standing in front of the stage has never really seen you or heard you before, and they're just taking it in. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to both, though, because festivals are fun in another kind of way as well. You meet lots of friends and people that you haven't seen for a while. So
you're able to do that short, sharp set, sit back and have a beer or a non-alcoholic beer, because I don't drink, and then enjoy the show as well.
Exactly, and you might see some cool bands that you would never have the opportunity to see otherwise.
Exactly. Always get to those shows early. Tell me a little bit about the closer on the track in the event of. It's an absolutely ripping way to end the album.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I can say about it. Then yeah, I agree. It's a good album closure.
Yeah.
And yeah, and if I'm not totally mistaken and confused today, it's the song. It comes after the Swedish song, right? Isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's the final, the closer on the
yeah.
album. I love a good closer.
So I think it's really good. It connects well with that song, and also like it's heavy, but also good. A good way to wrap things up. A good way to leave the audience with also like wanting more.
Yep.
I hope. So it's and also I think it's brilliant that it got decided that Efter Solen was like it's a part of the album and not just a B-side or something like that, or something for the Japanese market or something like that. It is actually like a natural and good part of the record.
I did Google the name and everything, but I'm going to leave that to everybody else when it comes out, because it's an amazing album. Track too. It's just absolutely beautiful the way it sits in there. Your sound has definitely evolved very much since the early days. How do you feel this album sits in a full circle moment kind of with you guys?
Well, I think it's a good evolution of the sound. I still like. I think it's a quite different experience, like playing in the band and listening to the band, because for me, I'm working so much with it, learning the bass parts, and I kind of like indoctrinating myself in the music. So already now it feels like it's been there since ages ago. It's it feels like a very very natural and part of the Katatonia discography, and it's fun to see how people are just like picking out their references to other records, like, oh, I can hear this record in this part, and this song reminds me about this, but then someone comes in, oh, it actually reminds me more about this album. And I think that's like, if it was ever aimed to be like it needs to be like in this kind of way, it was successful. But I think it's only like it's just circumstances, because Jonas just writes whatever comes to his mind, and what he like is what the inspiration brings him. So and I think that's the best way of like releasing something, writing something, recording something, and releasing something that's in the vein of Katatonia, because then it's true to the history, legacy, and also like to the sound.
Exactly, and that does stay true to the legacy and the sound. Niklas, this has been an absolute pleasure, mate. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in?
Yeah, amazing poster there behind you, the Terminator one. That's super cool.
It is, isn't it?
I love it. Yeah, super cool. And I mean, and also I can't wait to come back to Australia to play. It's always been amazing. It's always been a warm welcome, and I mean, it's always a good experience, and hopefully get to see some of Australia this time. Last time it was very hectic schedule, so it was most, the things I saw was done within like 1 hour of being able to go out somewhere and see something. And so I hope to have at least one day where I can go out and enjoy Australia a little bit more than last time.
Promoters, give them a couple more days to get out there. Niklas, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for getting to chat to me about Nightmares as extensions of the Waking State. It is an absolute masterpiece.
Yes.
Everybody
Nailing
go
it.
out, pre-order it, grab it. It does drop June 6th via Napalm Records. Everybody in Australia, go buy it, get them down under. Thank you so very much, mate. You have a lovely evening.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.